Good evening. The January 17th Poquoson City Public School Board meeting is called to order. I'm going to go ahead and call our student representative, Lexi, to come up and lead us through the pledge and a moment of silence and an inspirational reading. I pledge
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, my quote this evening is, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase," which Dr. King said in 1962 during his speech in New York City. Thank you.
Thank you, Lexi, and thank you for reminding everybody we didn't have a December meeting because we didn't meet quorum. So after all the recognitions tonight, please feel free, parents and students, to leave. Got a pretty healthy agenda, and you don't need to sit here through all of it unless you want to. And I will ask Ms. McKay, do we have any additions and or modifications to the agenda? Okay, thank you. And next up will be our recognitions, and I'm going to call Ms. Kelly Purdy up to help guide us through those. The first one, do you want to walk through all of them, or do you want me to announce each of them?
I'll walk through all of them, but I think at some point you have to come.
I will be up there.
Yeah, okay, great. Michelle Helsel, members of the board, superintendent, colleagues, and community members, thank you for joining us this evening. We do have a lot to celebrate, and it is because we're merging two board meetings together, but also because we just have great people doing great things at Poquoson, so we're excited to share all the good things that are happening. The first recognition that we're going to make tonight is for our Student of the Month back in December. So our December Student of the Month is a young man pursuing a career in business and will be attending a 4-year college after graduation. Beyond taking many of Poquoson High's most rigorous courses, this student has been a member of the Key Club, SCA, and the Math Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta. He was also inducted into National Honor Society and the Spanish Honor Society. He's an athlete competing in varsity soccer, where he served as team captain during his 11th grade school year and also participated in varsity basketball. Finally, I would like to note that this young man has earned straight A's from the time he was in elementary school through his senior year at high school. He only has a couple months left to hold that record. Please join me in congratulating our December Student of the Month, Robert Brown. The January Student of the Month is a terrific young man also, who is not only an excellent student, but also excels in both athletics and music. This gentleman has challenged himself with numerous AP honors level courses and has earned himself a 4.3 GPA for his efforts. He has been named the National Merit Commended Student based on his performance on the SAT and is a member of the NHS, French Honor Society, and Mu Alpha Theta. Last year, he was chosen to represent our schools at Boise State. And outside of the classroom, he's a member of the Poquoson Islander Marching Band, serves as section leader, and has consistently made all-district band. He is captain of the varsity cross-country team, member of the winter track team, and serves as president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Outside of school, he has volunteered at his church and with the Boy Scouts, where he has earned the rank of Eagle Scout, also with a project that was done at the high school. He also holds several part-time jobs around town, and you might have even seen him at Food Lion. This fall, he will attend Oklahoma State University, where he plans to obtain a bachelor's in agriculture. Please join me in congratulating our January Student of the Month, Mr. Patrick Nelson. like to recognize our 2022 VSBA Exhibitors Scholarship recipient. The Virginia School Board Association offers a scholarship to a deserving high school senior who has served as a school board representative during their junior or senior year. Applicants are assessed on academic achievement, character, school and community service, and career goals. Last year, our student school board representative was Maddie Haddock, and she certainly exemplifies strong qualities in all of these categories, which is why it's not surprising to us that when she did indeed submit an application, she won. We are very proud that she continues to represent not only her school, but also our division as a whole. Please join me in congratulating Miss Maddie Haddock. Okay, now we'd like to go on and recognize our varsity field hockey team. So for this next presentation, some members weren't able to join because they're athletes all year round. But once again, we would like to recognize Poquoson varsity field hockey as they've had a tremendous year. Their season was another strong one, and they went all the way to the state championship game. We especially want to recognize the seniors as they had such an incredible career while here at Poquoson High. Libby Harper, Avery Jackson, Rio Jones, Brooke Martin, Sydney McCarthy, Kayla Romine, Emily Schwartzball, Haley Schwartzball, and Reagan Worley. Of course, their dedicated coach, Darcy Shapazy, should also be recognized for the countless hours and motivation she gives to her players. Congratulations once again to our Poquoson Lady Islanders upon receiving state runner-up. And in a moment, we're going to call their names and have you guys come and get your certificates. Is Annabelle Simmons here? No? Okay. Sydney McCarthy? No, okay. Eva Trainer? Well, if they're Rio Jones. Okay. A lot of athletes doing a lot of things. Emily Schwartzball? Ashlyn Jones? Yeah, stay up here for us if you wouldn't mind. And Avery, I believe, has basketball. Reagan Worley is also basketball. Caroline Harper. Elizabeth Tran. Haley Schwartzball. Kayla Romine. Is she here? No. Okay. Isabel? I'm going to. Goretsky? Okay. Grace Oates? It's just who? Oh, okay. That's easy to go. Well, Lexi Peshahanif. And Libby Harper. Thank you. Yes, and the coaches, please join us. It's not on. Can they turn that on? Sorry, no. Oh, you might actually. I think you actually did. Thank you. Okay. Actually, let me look real quick, Ms. Shapazy, because I do think you guys have some. That would be great. And I think yours are in there. I apologize. Next, we would like to recognize our WISE Gold Star Award. Michael Smith and Amy Smith, once again, are the recipients of the WISE Gold Star Teacher Award. The Working and Support of Education Organization, which is the acronym WISE, is committed to helping students become financially literate adults. Michael Smith and Amy Smith have been economics and personal finance instructors at PHS for many years and are passionate about personal finance education. In order for a teacher to achieve a Gold Star Award, their students must have reached a 93% passing rate on the WISE Financial Literacy Certification Test, which is given in May of 2022. Both teachers have received this award numerous times over the years and are to be commended. Passing this personal finance exam is an important graduation requirement for students in the Commonwealth. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Michael and Amy, Poquoson City School applauds your accomplishments and are very thankful for your dedication to our students. If you would mind coming and join us, please. Poquoson High School has once again received the WISE Blue Star School distinction for the 2021-22 academic year, much thanks to the work that Mr. and Mrs. Smith provided to the schools as well as other teachers. PHS has earned this distinction for many years in a row. We're very proud of this fact. To earn the Blue Star School recognition, a school must have achieved an 80% passing rate on the WISE Financial Literacy Certification Test. Additionally, the criteria is met either a majority of students on a given grade level take the financial literacy test, or those who take it earn it 85% or higher. So congratulations to all the economics and personal finance students and their teachers for the 2021-22 school year.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
At this time, we would like to celebrate each building's Teacher of the Year. Please enjoy these brief videos highlighting each of them. Will you please come up and join us, Ms. Morgan Shepard? Next, we'd like to recognize and honor our elementary school teacher of the year, Ms. Catherine Chapman. you please join us, Ms. Catherine Chapman?
Sorry, we gave them back. They're identical, so it's okay. Good idea.
Next up, we would like to recognize our middle school teacher of the year, Mrs. Allison Kroll. Will you please come and join us, Ms. Allison Kroll? And last but not least, we would like to recognize our high school teacher of the year, Ms. Becky Morrison. Congratulations once again to Mrs. Morrison for being our division's Teacher of the Year. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the PEF if they would come forward. They have some extra recognitions for our Teachers of the Year.
Hi there, I'm Sherry Harper from the PEF.
Janet Harper.
And
from
yes,
the
we
PEF.
are related. We are just very, very, very proud of all of our Teachers of the Year. And we like to present them a little honorarium in recognition of their success and our great dedication to teaching and their schools. So if I can call, I'm going to start the way they did with the Poquoson Primary School, Morgan Shepherd. And if I can ask you to please use my camera, because if I don't, Mary Earl will kill me.
She's a force to be reckoned
She's
with.
a force to be reckoned with. Right. Individuals and okay. All right. On behalf of the PEF, we're going to honor you with the brick on the. All right, and then the next one, Catherine Chapman. Okay. And we're also going to honor you with the brick at the high school. Yeah, so let's get on either, put in the middle of us here, that way. It looks better that way. You have a Harper sandwich here. Just hold up here a minute because we're going to get a picture with all of you. Yeah. The next one is Allison Kroll, please. And then last but not least, Becky Morrison. And we also have, in addition to a brick, she gets a little cash.
All right.
That's a little something. There you go. Very welcome. All right, we can ask you all. Yeah, we'll make the Harper sandwich on either side. Yeah. Thank you.
And I believe that concludes our recognitions.
Thank you, Ms. Purdy.
I am so sorry to the Kiwanis Club. I almost skipped right over you. I'm glad that you spoke up. Thank you. Also, to recognize our Teachers of the Year, the Kiwanis Club are very generous as well and always offer a gift to our teachers. So at this time, I'll have them come up and share.
Thank you so much, Chair Helsel, members of the school board, Mr. Tillett, our teachers being recognized this evening. My name is Angie Emmett, and I'm the current president of the Kiwanis Club of Poquoson. I'm being joined by Mr. Charlie French, probably a familiar face. You may know that the Kiwanis Club of Poquoson is one of the largest and most active civic organizations in the city, with approximately 100 members. The continued growth of the Kiwanis in Poquoson is likely because the Kiwanis' primary objective is our schools, students, and improving the world one child and one community at a time. Both Kiwanis and teachers have a similar mission to improve the lives of our children. The Kiwanis focus is on teaching self-confidence, community leadership, and service to others. It's an honor tonight to be here to recognize the dedicated efforts of 4 of our outstanding teachers, Ms. Morgan Shepard, Ms. Catherine Chapman, Ms. Allison Kroll, and Ms. Becky Morrison. So I'd like to read a letter of recognition that we're presenting to these 4 educators. It'll be quick. Congratulations on your selection as a Poquoson Teacher of the Year. Poquoson is blessed to have one of the highest quality school systems in Virginia due to the dedicated efforts of all of our teachers. Being recognized as a top teacher in such an elite company is truly a testament to your commitment and proficiency in educating our youth. The Kiwanis Club of Poquoson strives to embody the goals of Kiwanis International in positively improving the world one child and one community at a time through our charitable work with Poquoson school system. Your exemplary efforts for the 2023-2024 school year mirror our own to be a positive influence on our youth and our community. We therefore are pleased and honored to present each of you with a $250 check in recognition of your outstanding work. Congratulations on such an outstanding year.
Now, as you should know, while the Kiwanis are making this presentation, it's really on behalf of the Poquoson community as a whole who think so highly of our teachers and our school system. Now, can I go ahead and read the names? And Mr. Charlie will go ahead and present. The first would be Miss Morgan Shepard. Thank you. Miss Catherine, stay up there. Miss Catherine Chapman. Miss Allison Kroll. And Miss Becky Morrison. Now, the $250 check that the Kiwanis is presenting each of you is for your hard work and accomplishments. It is not intended for you to spend on your classroom and classes. It's for you to personally spend as you'd like. And just one more point is I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we just completed a very successful second annual Frosty Festival. And in May, we'll again host our popular Kiwanis annual pig roast on the lawn of the former Wells Fargo. So thanks to the great community support of these two events, along with our periodic bulk barbecue sales, we are able to give back to the schools, provide scholarships, and support other worthy needs in Poquoson. Thank you all. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We are so grateful for all of our partnerships in the community and for everything that the Kiwanis and the PEF and other organizations have helped with our division and recognizing our teachers and students. So thank you very much for coming out. Am I done with recognitions now? I haven't missed anybody, right? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Purdy, and I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you, PEF, Kiwanis Club. We definitely appreciate your support of our schools. Congratulations, students. Congratulations, athletes, and definitely to our teachers as well. So I think next one, and again, family, parents, students, you're welcome to slip out right now. We completely understand. We're going to keep on. So next we have our presentations and reports, and the first up is going to be our superintendent's report by Mr. Tillett.
You better. He didn't do it.
Thank you, Angie. Appreciate it.
I think just he's going to get it.
Well, we had a mass exodus. Thank you all for sticking around. Madam Chair, members of the board, tonight for my report, I'd like to invite a good friend and colleague who's been working with the dual language immersion program for many, many years. I had the distinct pleasure of working with him as we planted dual language immersion programs in my previous school division in 5 of our 5 elementary schools. So, and those programs are thriving. I'm happy to report. We have talked individually and at various times since I've been here about this program, and I think Poquoson is ready to launch out on such an endeavor. But I wanted you to hear from the expert how the program works, the advantages for children. He will go through the whole thing for us briefly. As well, he'll talk about some of the pros and cons of the program, but Poquoson Primary School would flourish in this environment. It's something we'll be talking about moving forward. Not anything you need to decide tonight, just informational. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Kevin Smith up to talk from Participate Learning. Yeah. I think he has a PowerPoint. So.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's great to be in let me try and say it right. Poquoson? That's right. Awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Kevin Smith, and I'm the Partnership Director for Participate Learning. We are based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, but have operations in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. And as you can see, we were planning to do this at the last board meeting, but we had to shift it. And what a great night to be present in Poquoson, where you are celebrating teachers. It's always an exciting time of the year when we get to come to board meetings and also see all the celebrations, and teachers work so hard. And the recognition of the individual teachers is extensive to all their colleagues. So thank you for taking the time to recognize each of the teachers at each of the levels. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Participate Learning has been around for a number of years, over 30 years. It started with the intent to make the world a smaller place for all students. And the original intent was to get individual students to travel the world and learn about the world and come back and insert their knowledge and integrate their knowledge with their friends and colleagues. But soon we realized that formula was very limiting. And so if we thought about how to do more of that more productively, we then thought about bringing international teachers to the United States, where one teacher could impact the lives of 20 or 30 students at a time. And so that was our first activity. We've been very successful in hosting international teachers. I think Poquoson has a couple of our teachers for Spanish, world language, if I'm not mistaken, started last school year, with all the challenges in getting them here. So thank you for your patience and flexibility on that. Then we realized that if our world language teachers were so successful, we could also bring elementary school teachers who would have the same impact on students. And so we started to bring elementary school teachers. That was also a very successful endeavor. And then we realized that world language as it is quite limiting in its success at the elementary and middle school level. Between middle and high school level, as we saw tonight, we have students who do qualify for those higher order Spanish and world language in general classes and get recognized for that and become bilingual. But how impactful it would be to have students to become bilingual, irrespective of the second language that we're speaking about, how impactful it would be for them to have an entire academic career at the elementary, K-12 really, in a second language or across two languages, in the home language English as well as that second language. Of course, Spanish is the second most popular language in the United States, followed by French and Mandarin Chinese and some other languages. But for all practical purposes, Spanish is the preferred language, partner language in a bilingual or dual language program. A little bit more about Participate Learning. By the numbers, we impact currently over 60,000 students each year. And we're very proud of that because our goal is to unite the world through global education. And part of what we do is, yes, the international teachers come for a period of time to the United States, but we also do that by opening students' minds to the rest of the world through programs like the Dual Language Program. And so currently we partner with 400, a little more than 400 school districts across the 3 states that I mentioned before. And we bring teachers from around 29 countries, depending on the year, because circumstances do impact where we are able to recruit the teachers from. So the programs that we offer through Participate Learning are 3. the ambassador teachers, which are the international teachers, the dual language program at the elementary level, and then in Spanish, Conexiones for the articulation to middle school, and Chuan Chu Hua as the Mandarin immersion middle school dual language program. Additionally, we offer the Global Leaders program or Global Leaders Framework, which is a school-wide endeavor to infuse global competencies or to help develop global competencies across all students. And so it's not limited just to students in the dual language program. Now, let's talk specifically for a few minutes about the dual language program. Now, when we talk about a Spanish dual language program, everyone walks away with the idea of Spanish as that second language, and that is correct. We use Spanish as the vehicle for learning, but truly it's only the vehicle. What we're doing is we're presenting students with an opportunity to exercise parts of their brains that are typically dormant and only accessible through premier types of engagement. One of those is language. The other one is music or arts. And so some of these specialized programs are out there. We choose to do it through the medium of a second language, in this case, Spanish. There are several instructional models. The most popular models are either the full immersion program or the 50-50 program, which is what we've been talking about as a potential for implementation here in Poquoson. The full immersion program takes students and exposes them to that second language. In kindergarten and first grade, they would get their instruction entirely in Spanish, and come second grade, they would then get their instruction across the two languages. The reason for that is because we want to accelerate that second language so that they can handle the content, the more rigorous content as they go through the grade levels in that second language in Spanish. It's a popular program. That's one model. The more popular program is the 50-50 split. And that means that there is one section of students at kindergarten that will be assigned to a local English-speaking teacher, and one section of students that would be assigned to the Spanish teacher. And what they do is they share instruction as they go through their day. There are a couple variations of that. That can be an A-B model, where each teacher gets each class on alternate days, or a split day model, which is again very popular, in which the two teachers see both groups of students each day and they share instruction. The most important element to highlight is that instruction is not repeated. This is a progression model. So if you're starting with 1A this morning, you're continuing with 1B this afternoon. And so the teachers are collaborating really closely with each other as they go through the curriculum. There aren't enough days in the school year to do everything twice. And so those teachers are working really, really closely together. Let's see. Now, I put only a few bullets here because the benefits are incredible when it comes to dual language program outcomes. There is over 30 years of research in support of learning across two languages. The most important thing to realize is that when we are talking about a dual language program, when we're talking about learning across Spanish and English, we're not sacrificing anything in each language. What we're doing is we're enhancing what students learn in one language and giving them an opportunity to implement it and practice it in the opposite language. And so students benefit. By the end of the elementary grade, certainly by the end of third and fourth grade, students are bilingual and biliterate. And that biliteracy is really an important concept, because we're not limiting the language, we're not limiting the experience in a dual language program to just the language development. That comes naturally through exposure to that second language teacher, just like they do their home language teacher, right? But what we're wanting students to do is to become also proficient in math and science and social studies and literacy across those two languages. So when they become adults like you and I, they can then operate across different fields and operate in a very diverse community and access opportunities that this second language would provide to them, that normally they would have to wait until high school or college to do. So I love putting this slide up because it shows the results of students that are in our programs. The blue bar is participate learning students. The gray bar is, I can't see from here, sorry, is North Carolina average students. And the participate, the green bar, the other darker bar, is participate learning average. So students that are in the dual language program in every case are outperforming the children that are across schools in North Carolina. And this is, in some cases, not just outperforming them, but in some cases, statistically significantly outperforming them in math and in literacy. And science when they get to 5th grade, of course. And this is another example. At this one particular school, which is Jeffries Grove, high achieving school in North Carolina, in Raleigh, in Wake County, and in every single case, dual language students, again, are outperforming their peers. So again, the benefit is that they walk out the door being bilingual. The bigger benefit is that they become biliterate and successful, and they maintain that success, that academic success. And that is something that we're going to manage really carefully from the beginning of the implementation process. I like to say that when I do presentations to boards, that one of the things that I want you to take away is we've been doing dual language programs for the past 15 or 16 years and we stand on the shoulders of all the research and best practices in dual language programs. And so at no point we are going to experiment with the children. We really want to make sure that they are achieving and that they walk out the door with something extra that they can use, not just as children when they experience it, but throughout their lives as well. Our services cut across 4 different areas. On the organization side, we provide implementation services and program support. Like every other endeavor in schools, dual language takes really a lot of care and dedication. And so we will assign a program manager that will be working directly with your primary school, with your lower elementary school. And that program manager is going not only to help implement the program, but also help manage that program. So there is curriculum development workshops that they will do. There is data analysis that they will do. There are tweaks all along the way, and that's why the program manager will be assigned. On the educator side, there will be professional development and teacher support. Because when you become part of that 2-member team of the dual language program, there are best practices that everyone needs to understand, not only in the development of a second language, which is important, but also academic achievement through that second language. And so we really make sure that that support is in place throughout the partnership. And so the next few slides really break down the details of what the partnership looks like, but I would prefer to see if there are any immediate questions or any really, big questions that you would like to ask me, and then I'll close out with a few additional remarks. While you think of your questions, an important aspect is the recruitment and retention of international dual language teachers. The teachers that we bring are going to be teachers that have completed their training in their home country, equivalent to the training that teachers receive here in the United States. A minimum of a bachelor's degree with 2 or 3 years of experience at a minimum, but most of our teachers come to us with 6 or 7 years of experience. And for the dual language program in particular, they will have had experience as bilingual teachers in their home country as well, teaching core subjects and language development, which is an important piece.
I
Yeah,
have a
to
question.
I,
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
all right. So I actually have 4 questions. How many? Oh, you want to go first?
Nope, I
Okay.
defer.
How many school districts are you in Virginia currently?
We are in Winchester. We have 2 dual language programs in Winchester, and at the middle school, they already have students at the Conexiones level, and we're in Prince William County with 1 dual language program there currently. In North Carolina, we have another 94 programs in the state of North Carolina that we support as well.
And then the 50-50 immersion, so the instructions for that lesson of the day is spoken first in English and then in the preferred language?
That's a
How does
great
that-
question. So the way 50-50 works is you're going to have 2 blocks of literacy development, 1 in English, 1 in Spanish. And then the teachers and the program manager during the implementation process and in conversations with the district and with the school, they will determine which subjects are taught in English, which subjects are taught in Spanish. That model requires that you either switch those subjects in the middle of the school year so that students get exposed to the opposite language, I keep doing this, or every other year so that students get exposed to math and Spanish 1 year or 1 semester, and then math and English the other semester. The AB model is a little different because the teacher will teach the entire group of students all the subjects, and then the following day, the partner teacher will teach the subjects in the opposite language. Both models are very successful. For, I would say, logistical purposes, probably the split day is easier to implement, and you see the results immediately. At this point in time, our kindergartners are already reading in Spanish, and that's amazing. And that's because they have that literacy block in Spanish and then the literacy block in English as well. That's a great question. Thanks for asking.
All right, and then probably one of the most important questions for us, costs. Are there grants associated with this? How is this going to be paid for?
There are grants that are out there, especially some from the Department of State, that you can access. So our program managers will have some information on that. But the way we build our cost structure is whenever you hire an international teacher, there are some dollars that are saved by virtue of hiring that international teacher. They don't pay into retirement. And so the cost of the yearly fee that we charge can be covered partially in some cases through the hiring of those international teachers, so it can become a cost-neutral endeavor for the school district. And so it will ultimately depend on the number of teachers, but we already presented a draft to Mr. Tillett, and we will revise that draft to make sure that it is feasible for the district to engage in this project.
Weigh in here just a minute as well. Mr. Ingram, we already have hired 2 Spanish teachers through Participate Learning. This year we have a Spanish teacher at the high school, Mr. Navarro, and Mr. Ramirez at the elementary school. And these are hard to fill positions. And on the cost part of it, because of what Mr. Smith was talking about with the savings of some of the FICA side of the cost, that both of those teachers are cost neutral. They would be the same cost if we were to hire an individual from Virginia to come take this job. Once you pay those other fees are saved in the Participate program.
I'm
Okay,
good, thank
so my question is around the J1 visa sponsorship.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I see it a lot in healthcare. And a lot of times after the 5 years, they're gone, they're somewhere bigger. So what is your tenure with your teachers? You've been around for 30 years. staying in locations, or are they?
No, we operate under the umbrella of the J1 Cultural Exchange Visa, and so the teachers can be here for up to 5 years. Our commitment with the dual language program in particular, and any other teacher that you host for through Participate Learning, is that we will backfill those positions.
Okay.
And so Cumberland County, for example, in North Carolina, has been a dual language partner with us for 15 years. They were one of our founding programs. And whenever teachers leave because they complete their 5-year program participation, we backfill those positions, even if they have to leave before for personal reasons. Our commitment is to make sure that your dual language program is staffed.
I actually have a question regarding that. Have you seen where there's a burden students, if a teacher has to leave suddenly, then backfill with another one?
The answer to that is yes, and I would say it's not more than they would experience with any local teacher that has to leave in the middle of the school year for personal reasons. We do, because it's such a specialized program, we do have additional staff available to take care of any gaps in instruction that occur because a teacher has left for a short period of time while we're able to secure another teacher. That is an important service for us, and an important service in you partnering with us. And so that's been in place for a number of years.
One
Yes,
question.
sir.
So in the model that you implement, is it does it the whole school participate, or do parents get to opt in and self-select into the programs, and then you might have, if we have 7 kindergarten teachers?
That's another great question. Thanks for asking. So usually it's a track within a school. So what we are proposing is to have 2 sections of kindergarten students to participate in the program. And the way the school district, it's a decision on the school district whether you make it in a division-wide choice program, or as you're small enough so everyone will know about the program once you decide on whether you will do it. But typically it is a choice program in the school divisions that we partner with.
And it's probably not in your presentation, but if you have more data, I'd like to see the results on more targeted underserved populations to see if there's any greater or lesser gain. I'm assuming it's probably just is the same. Educational data is pretty common, but
yes, it is. Thomas and Collier, researchers out of Virginia, actually, have conducted extensive research in dual language programs across different types of students, demographics, and socioeconomics. In every case, well-implemented dual language programs, students outperform their peers under the same conditions. It's really impressive. And we are experiencing the same thing in our partner schools. And that's why we're so careful about implementation and management of those programs. We don't put the burden on the principal, because the principal is required to do the rest of the school and everything else. So we assign that program manager for that specific reason. I will share that additional information with Mr. Tillett and have him share with you.
thank you.
I have one question, if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
don't mind. Poquoson's a real unique little community. And you're talking about kindergarten children all the way up through high school. Are the parents going to have any say-so in this at all?
Yeah, the short answer is the parent's going to have all the say-so,
Okay.
not just.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that.
This is a total choice-based program. We would never implement a program like this, not on my watch, that was not choice-based. Having, again, launched this program where I came from several years back, it's not something you do quickly. You have a lot of meetings where you share. You have folks like Kevin come in and talk to the community, answer a lot of questions, because you're talking about our youngest students.
Babies.
And the babies. And, so you want parents to feel very comfortable that this is the right move. And you also want them to be very comfortable that it's not the right move. Mm-hmm. And so it would be totally choice-based. And we would start with the planning first. And then if we have enough families who decide this is the right path for their child, then we would launch. And without it, we wouldn't. And again, we were thinking in DARE when we started having this conversation some years ago that we might have one or two of our elementary schools that would be able to recruit enough parents to commit to a classroom. And all 5 schools launched a program, and 2 of our schools launched 2 programs. I think it was 2 classrooms in each of those. And so it's totally choice-based, and we would never push anybody in that direction. It's definitely a family decision. And there's a way to opt out once you start. If you go down that path and you find out it's really not, now that's where it gets a little hairy because you're staffing and all of that accordingly. But there is an opportunity to get out if it's a decision your family's made and it's not the right one.
Perfect, thank you.
Question, I guess, since we're all going. So once you start on these programs, what's normally the biggest obstacle that y'all have to when you start going on this and get it going?
The biggest obstacle is helping parents see. Parents are anxious. Parents of kindergartners are always anxious. And so once you share the information, you share the data, you share examples of what it looks like, that level of anxiety, is reduced significantly. That is it. Parents get anxious in kindergarten. They get anxious just before testing in 3rd grade because everybody wants to make sure that students are going to be successful. Nobody is against the learning a second language. Everyone is nervous about making sure that students are academically successful. And so once we get parents to understand what that journey looks like, and we're very transparent about the whole experience, what they can look like in 1st grade, what that profile would look like in 1st grade, what children would sound like at each grade level, and what those expected outcomes are. One of the most important jobs of the program manager is to look at data quarterly. And so if anything is off, then that is a prompt to say, what are we not doing? What do we need to do more of? And we adjust lesson plans, not just on the Spanish side, but also on the English side to make sure that everyone stays on pace with what the expectations are academically. But we're very transparent. The biggest hurdle we have is that usually parents say, at the end of the day, say, I don't understand why I missed the opportunity when my kid was in kindergarten. Can I get him in 1st grade? So it's a good problem to have, but yes, that would be the answer to that question.
Let me also add one more piggyback to that answer. Again, having experienced this process intimately. The other challenge is families say, I don't speak Spanish. How do I help my student with their homework, which is a legitimate question. So the community rallies with a lot of support in that way. We have found that these teachers also are willing to provide tutorials for parents in the evening, and I was overwhelmed personally to see the participation of parents wanting to learn the language with their kids. It's incredible to watch. The other part of this that I would like to include, if this is something our board wants to consider moving forward, and again, we've got plenty of time to discuss it and plan it, is load some folks up on buses who would like to check it out. We did this back in DARE, and we went to a couple of schools, one in Raleigh, and I don't remember where the other place was.
Perhaps I think it was Johnson County.
Maybe it had been Johnston County. And parents who wanted to go, we loaded up early in the morning, and we went and watched these kids learn in other programs. You get to walk in a kindergarten class second semester and see what these kids have learned already. Then you go in a 1st grade class or a 2nd grade class, and you watch these kids learning math and science and social studies in English. And by that 3rd grade, they're not speaking English in the Spanish side of the class. They're learning it and communicating completely in a second language. It's a brilliant thing to watch. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Any additional questions? So again, we bring this to you as an option to add value to the educational experience that students will have. It's been tried and proven. It is an incredible experience at the family level, at the community level. It has community members coming to the school and to the school organization and saying, we love what you're doing, because it also adds an additional element of promise to the community. We've had members of the healthcare system come and say, we applaud you for doing this. We need bilingual, nurses and healthcare workers in general. We have the banking system coming to us and say, thank you for doing this. So all across the board, it's a value added to the educational experience. And it's something that, in terms of the choice programs, it's an additional element that the school organization can offer the community. I thank you for your time. I'm happy to come back and share with you additional information if you would like to have me back. And I'll share some additional information with Mr. Tillett that could answer your additional questions. Thank you.
I actually have a quick question, if that's okay. So with a program like this, I know it's a requirement for most, for Virginia at least, to have a 3 years or 2 years of a language on a high school diploma. Would this program allow the student to bypass that requirement on their, to get an advanced diploma?
This is such a great question. Thank you. So the trajectory from dual language to high school, from elementary to high school in dual language looks like this, and I should have included that slide for visual purposes. You do K-5 dual language, you do Conexiones at the middle school, and then students, by virtue of achieving an intermediate level in Spanish already, get to access in 9th grade honors Spanish and AP Spanish. And so it might be actually pushing your high school options a little further along in terms of the rigor in the Spanish classes. So yes, students that are part of the dual language program that continue through high school will access AP level Spanish and be able to graduate with college credits.
In addition, Lexi, let me just add this one piece. The universities often like to see on a high school transcript the world language extended through senior year, so you're fresh out. And a lot of universities are looking for a second language. So it also becomes a great opportunity, we found, for students to challenge the second language. They speak Spanish already, and then they pick up French or German as their third language in high school, and it looks great on a high school transcript applying to top flight universities.
And students may actually be able to access the Seal of Biliteracy for Virginia. Mm-hmm. Thank you again.
Definitely review it and discuss it as a board and have Mr. Tillett talk with you. You too. I'm going to actually put Mr. Tillett on the hot seat really quick and have you introduce our new assistant superintendent, if you don't mind.
It's quite a pleasure to introduce our newest addition to our office, Miss Amber Brown, who is the new assistant superintendent for instruction and student services, long title and a big job. And she's already hit the ground running. She started here with us week before last, and she's been in every building, met with all the principals, met with the directors. She's been met with several teachers. She is an amazing educator that comes to us from Hampton. You all saw in the email a little bit about her background. She worked with Hampton Schools for most recently, and then was in Chesapeake Schools. Before that, she also was the principal while working in Chesapeake schools at Hickory High School, which is a national blue ribbon school under her leadership. So she brings a great resume to us of experience, and she's also a lot of fun to work with. So please welcome Ms. Amber Brown.
Thank you very much, and thank you for welcoming me here tonight. All right, good evening, Board Chair Helsel, board members, Mr. Tillett, and our Poquoson community. My update for you this evening is going to be an overview of the program of studies, overview of our program of studies and changes and information on important student registration information. In addition, we'll review our textbook adoption process and then make one recommendation this evening. Go back. The school division is responsible for providing a robust instructional program to meet the needs of all of our students. Each year, the program of studies is reviewed for clarity and for accuracy. The school counseling director and the administrators at both the middle and the high schools solicit input from their staff for the new program of studies. A committee of school-based and school board office staff collected the modifications, including regional program updates for inclusion in our new program of studies. And tonight we bring those changes to you, and once approved, they will be added to the 23-24 secondary school program of studies. I would like to thank those individuals who served on the Program of Studies Committee for working together to ensure our students have an expansive program and affords them a wide variety of educational options and opportunities. And as you see, I will list their names: Dr. Brandon Ratliff, Miss Melissa Bunting, Miss Amanda Goyne, Mr. Andrew Roberts, Dr. George Cunningham, Miss Lauren Gray, Miss Heather Worthen, and Miss Kelly Purdy. Many of them are out there tonight, so thank you. All right, our changes. As you will see, we have a few course additions and some minor modifications which will need your approval. At the high school level, we would like to offer 3 additional courses. Those courses are Advanced Technical Theater, World History 1, and Creative Writing 2. We're also requesting a modification to our capstone course as it relates to experiential learning. This course is a PCPS graduation requirement that mandates that all students starting with the cohort of 2024 complete an experiential learning component prior to graduation. As you all are aware, the pandemic impacted our instructional programming in many ways. This also includes some of those experience-based learning opportunities for our students within the community. For this reason, we're requesting to extend this requirement to 2 years and begin with this year's entering freshmen, which will be our class of 2026. Also, for our middle school, now that we have all of our middle school students under one roof, we're asking to add our forensic science and our academic workshop back into our program of studies as elective options for our students. These current courses were previously taught at Poquoson Middle School to our 8th grade students prior to the renovation, and we just want them back. All right. So when it comes to our program of studies, our next steps would be, once approved, posting it to our website for students and parents to view, sending it to our schools, having copies available for our school counseling offices for the next few weeks. In February, course registration will begin and students will start. Currently, that'll be grades 5 through 11. And in April, the middle school and the high school will begin developing their master schedules for the 23-24 academic school year. So how are we going to get our information out? Well, this year we have 3 parent informational meetings that will be held at both Poquoson High School and Poquoson Middle. As you see at the high school, it will be February 8th for our rising 9th grade students. And at our middle school, we will have 2 sessions, both on February 23rd, 6 o'clock for our rising 6th graders, and our 7th and 8th will meet at 7 o'clock p.m. During our parent informational meetings, each school will have information to share about the registration process, the courses, schedules, graduation requirements, and other pertinent information that students and parents should know prior to course selection. At the end of each presentation, there will be a question and answer period, and we will be recording the informational sessions so anyone who cannot attend that evening will have the opportunity to view it at their convenience. Additional information will be uploaded to our school websites and shared with families through email as well as social media. We encourage our students and parents and families and our community members to get connected and follow us at Poquoson Schools on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find us. This will also allow you to stay in the know and celebrate all of the incredible things that are happening in our schools. Our next instructional update will be on our textbook adoption process. VDOE often compiles a list of approved textbooks. This year, however, there has been no approved textbook for health. In these cases, Poquoson mirrors VDOE's textbook adoption process on the local level. Tonight, we'll briefly review that process and present one recommended text for approval to the board. So, if VDOE has approved the textbook, there's no adoption process. However, our process begins with sample textbooks that are requested from various publishers. These texts are placed on display and they're accessible for the public. This time period is 30 days. The community is made aware through the posting board as well as our website. Community members are also provided the opportunity to submit comments. During this time, a textbook review committee evaluates each textbook using our VDOE textbook evaluation rubric and submits a recommendation to the superintendent. And the final step, of course, would involve a board presentation and approval. Our current high school health textbook is over 10 years old. In addition, it does not address the needs of our students and provides outdated information. The Textbook Adoption Committee, comprised of high school health teachers as well as administrators from the school and school board office, reviewed and evaluated each sample text and made the recommendation to adopt Health by Glencoe. This is the updated version of our current textbook used. The edition utilizes a blended delivery method of both print and digital media and materials. It also includes new updated content to include topics such as COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, child safe surrender laws, e-cigarettes and vaping, cyberbullying, online harassment, and more. There was no public comment to bring forward tonight, and so at this point, it's just the recommendation to adopt our textbook. At this point, I stand ready for any questions you may have.
I do have a question, and it might be more of a primary elementary question than a secondary school.
Sure.
But my caveat is that my 7th grader has asked me this about 4 times.
I get that.
So is the discussion of putting cursive or learning cursive back in schools?
Right. So as a parent of many, many children who cannot write a signature at this point.
That's the issue.
I hear what you're saying. At this point, I'd have to research that and get some information for you, but I certainly will do that and report back.
That'd be great.
I have a question. So you said that the VDOE has not approved a health book yet. Why is that the case?
Sometimes it occurs. Typically, they have a list depending on the subject matter that comes about. Some texts or some subject areas have those lists. Health does not. I'm not quite sure why they don't have a list that's readily accepted. Might be just a school choice. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, and welcome.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Braden Ratliff, who I know is going to jump up and down because he's back to just one role instead of several, with an operations update.
Good evening, Madam Chair Hazel, Mr. Tillett, and board members. I do have a brief presentation for you tonight. Most of the ones I think I've given have been fairly lengthy, but this one will be fairly quick. So currently we are still working on getting everything together for the HVAC project at the primary school. We've ran into a couple of bumps in the road with the funding that we have available and what our wish list is to have done with the actual HVAC installation. So at this point, we are still looking to try to figure out the best way to use the money so we can get the most for our dollar that we spend with the HVAC project. We still do anticipate the time frame of it happening this summer. We probably within the next week will be settled on which company for sure we're going to end up going with, as we've had to take a few turns when we saw what was actually able to be done with what we had available. Our roof project at the primary school is underway. Right now they are in the design phase. Probably within the next month to month and a half, we will have an RFP out to actually put the roof on. And the type of roof that we are putting on, it's a wind-vented roof, is something that can be done with people in the building. So we do anticipate prior to the spring, hopefully having the roof, the actual new roof on the primary school. So it should help with your water quite a bit.
I have a question really
Yes.
quick. After that goes on, are we going to do some more testing for where we are with the moisture levels?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The roof and the HVAC is air moisture problem, and you have the water intrusion from the roof leaking, and then we have humidity problems because the makeup air unit in the primary school has problems. So when you combine the two, it's just kind of a perfect storm of water. So no, once we get everything done and everything, it's the remediation has been constant, but once we really get that done and cleaned up, yes, we'll go back in and test everything. The modernization of the middle school, right now we're down to punch list items. Primarily, we're working on the controls for the heating and the lights, or the HVAC unit, the heating and the air and the lights there. From what I have heard today, we're getting a little bit further, but they're still trying to really dial that in so they can figure out exactly what needs to be done there. And we also have, it's big news when we get to purchase a vehicle. And we have actually purchased 2 new ones. If you saw some of the vehicles we had, you'd understand why it was big news. But the vans that we've purchased, we had 2 existing vans which we're pushing for student transportation. We have a lot of needs for what I would say one-offs in transportation and special needs, and we were having to use those vans more for that. The 2 new vans that we have we'll be able to use for student use, staff use when they're going to conferences, and that really gives us the best for our dollar when we can take 7 to 8 passengers rather than just a couple in a car. The last thing I'll talk about is I wanted to touch on the carryover funding that we received from the city. Very thankful for, is we wanted to really give you an idea of what all this carryover funding was doing. All of our staff members got the bonus payment at Christmas. For athletics, we're doing work on the weight room. We're getting them a new gator, a shed for the tennis storage, and track equipment. We're going to be purchasing adaptive playground equipment for both the primary school and the elementary school. The middle school is purchasing lockdown window coverings, basically some window coverings that when you do go into a lockdown, a drill, and what we do mostly, but essentially it makes it easy to get the doors covered so no one can see in. We've made security camera upgrades, or making them, at the high school, the elementary school, and the primary school. The middle school is already all new. And then we've also put a substantial amount of money into making sure all of our entryways and the front entrances, the back entrances of all schools have the ballistic window film on there. We're in the process of doing that. We were able to fund bus monitors for the primary school. Right now we have 2 existing employees that have expressed an interest in that, so we will be able to get monitors on buses coming soon to help out with the maintenance of the children. And the last thing that we have is actually went against the capital improvement plan and the project that we have, and we've purchased another bus. Our bus purchases are yearly on the capital improvement plan, and over the last couple of years, we've made huge strides. I think after we're expecting this bus in, we've had another one ordered for roughly a year now while it's been being built. But once we get that, I think that we are within about 4, possibly 5 buses of all of our buses in the fleet being within the average age that the state would like us to have, which is 15. So that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Brandon, I have one question.
Yes.
I'm probably going to get, I'm going to get it from Christy. I've talked to Mr. Tillett about it also, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it because I've talked to several parents and coaches. Is there a possibility, and this isn't for me, it's for the kids, is there a possibility of, at some point in time in Poquoson's history, to buy a bus that has the same, I knew I was going to get it from you.
I know where you're going.
Okay, take me there.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know, and you're talking about sports.
Yes.
And can I just say that is on our discussion for our work session?
Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome. Is that okay?
Perfect.
All right. So we'll bring more to the community about that
I
one.
just wanted them to know that I'm listening.
You're definitely listening to our community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ratliff. Ms. McKay, is there any public comment tonight?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Ms. Martin to walk us through the consent agenda.
For your approval on the consent agenda is the approval of financial reports, the authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with attached requests, approval of personnel action, approval of minutes for November's regular meeting, work session, and closed meeting, and approval to dispose of surplus property.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda.
Y'all are just amazing. Is there any discussion about, any questions, comments? So, Ms. McKay, would you please call for the vote?
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Dr. Goodale?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Ms. Martin?
Aye.
Ms. Everett?
Aye.
Chair Helsel?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, other matters for consideration. The first one is consideration of approval of the secondary program of studies for the 2023-2024 school year.
Approve the consideration of approval of the secondary program of studies for the 23-24 school year.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? If not, Ms. McKay, would you please call for the vote?
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Dr. Goodale?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Ms. Martin?
Aye.
Ms. Everett?
Aye.
Chair Helsel?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Moving on, consideration of approval of appointment of clerk and deputy clerk of the board. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the appointment of the clerk and deputy clerk of the board.
I'll second. You can.
Thanks, CJ won that one.
That's fine.
Is there any comments? I do have one. Thank you, Ms. McKay, for everything. We certainly appreciate you. Definitely wish you luck in your new role. With that, I will go ahead and ask you to call for a vote on that.
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Dr. Goodale?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Ms. Martin?
Aye.
Ms. Everett?
Aye.
Chair Helsel?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
The next one is consideration of approval of the textbook adoption.
Before we call a vote on that, Madam Chair, if I could just clarify something that may be a point of concern in this. I circulated around a copy of your current policy about family life education. Family life, as you are well aware, is taught primarily through our health curriculum, K through 12. This textbook, of course, is a high school textbook that you're considering tonight, produced by Glencoe, which is the predominant textbook for this curriculum around the state of Virginia. Country, actually. I think it's the most used textbook in this particular curriculum. One thing that I think it's important to realize that a textbook is simply a tool. Our teachers don't teach textbooks. They teach the standard course of study, the curriculum, and the textbook is a tool. Our teachers have requested multiple times since I've been here to update that textbook. There's a lot of inaccurate, outdated information in the current textbook and some missing information, as Ms. Brown covered some of that. and not to mention they're in terrible shape. So it's time to update the textbook. I don't want anybody to be caught off guard about the health curriculum. That's something we don't choose. That's provided by the state. And there is in that health curriculum, which covers a lot of things associated with healthful living, the life piece, which can be controversial. And because of that, most schools divisions in the state and in the country, as does Poquoson, have an opt-out policy that you have in front of you, so that parents who are not wanting their children or child to be exposed to certain parts of the family life curriculum, which talks about behaviors that parents may want to discuss and teach their children at home, it allows opting out. And we do have parents who annually opt their children out of that curriculum, and that's certainly acceptable. So I wanted you to know that before you vote on this particular textbook. As well, that piece is a separate supplement to the textbook. The one we send home with children doesn't have the family life piece in it. So if a parent opts out of that portion, the family life piece, they won't have access to anything in that curriculum, at least provided by us. So I wanted to just clarify that piece before you call this one for a vote. Now entertain any other one.
So when they opt out, what do the kids do? Like, what kind of class do they go to, or what program?
They have they're sent to other locations, and they have them doing other things associated with health, the curriculum that they're teaching. They just don't. They're not exposed to that piece of the curriculum, which is generally about a week and a half. I know the middle school just covered. Is it 4 weeks? Oh my land. 4 days, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's not 4 weeks, my land. No, I'm used to about a week, so it's a day less than that. So it's a limited, very condensed version. I would encourage anybody, and I've told parents who've expressed interest in this to contact the school or even the teacher who teaches the curriculum. To talk if there's a question about a particular topic. They can tell you exactly how it's covered, what resources are used, and how it's discussed in class.
Do we let the parents know that this is the time when it's coming up and this is what's discussed, like on the email way beforehand?
Absolutely. And we have parents opt out at the beginning of the year and all of that stuff that you go through to, all the forms you read and all of that. But they can always change their mind. That's something they can opt out at the last minute or opt back in at the last minute. We're very flexible about that. But yeah, we notify parents when that part of the curriculum is coming up. And like I said, I did talk to a couple of parents as the middle school just finished that last week or the week before. Right? It's coming up. Okay. That some parents had some questions about it as the notification went out. So it is a total optional part of the curriculum.
And we can send out like the study material and stuff that they go over so parents can really see what's going on in the school.
We actually refer them to the website that has the VDOE has this curriculum, every standard and what's discussed in it, and it's very up to date and easy to read. So we don't want to add to or take from. We teach the curriculum, and it's available on the video website that we send to parents as a link.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make the motion to approve the consideration of approval of textbook adoption.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Thank you. Any more discussions?
Yeah, I just want to go on record, just like what Mr. Tillett said, it's opt-in basis only. The human sexuality, I want to go on record and say I'm not, my vote is not for that. It's for the textbook that we're actually voting on. So I just want to go on record and state that. Because there's a lot of parents that are, that are starting to become aware of, the material and the discussions going on in textbooks.
I can show you it's two separate textbooks. One that has it, and then one is the extra one.
So to be clear, perfectly clear, if they're opting out, if the parent opts them out, they're not going to get that second textbook.
That's correct.
Okay.
The supplemental material, the smaller version of that, is a supplement to the textbook, and everything that's covered in the family life part of the curriculum, which again is covered by this policy, is in that supplement material. So the textbook that goes home with the child doesn't have that section in it.
Any more comments? Thank you for the clarification. Ms. McKay, would you go ahead and call for the vote, please?
Mr. Ingram.
Aye.
Dr. Goodell.
Aye.
Mr. Childress.
Aye.
Ms. Martin.
Aye.
Ms. Everett.
Aye.
Chair Helsel.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. The next thing is communications and/or other matters by the school board and superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Tillett. Do you have any other?
Just a quick shout out to several folks. First, I want to thank Dusty for her work with us. She has done an incredible job in the several roles that she's served the families of Poquoson schools, starting at the primary school and then up here in our office in 2 different positions. And she's also done a great job keeping me straight. So that should be a full-time job in and of itself. So I want to thank Dusty for all of her work there. She's greatly missed already, but I know the city of Williamsburg is happy to have her. So also want to welcome, as you just approved tonight, Dusty's replacement in this position. April Firth is with us tonight, and April is currently the bookkeeper at the elementary school. So many of you may know April. She's also a local girl and grew up here in Poquoson. So it's always great when we can bring our own folks back, and she's a rock star in the division. Everybody loves her and has a lot of respect for her. So we want to welcome April to that post. As well, as we've already said, want to welcome Amber to her new position. And also tonight, want to thank Kristen Lamb for stepping up to the plate as she is now the interim principal of Poquoson Elementary School in Dr. Wood's absence on leave. And we also welcome, he's not here this evening, but Mr. George Yeager, who many of you who've been around Poquoson for a while may remember. He was retired as assistant principal at Poquoson High School, and has been in the Poquoson schools for a lot of years, and he was willing to come back and help us during this time. So I want to just thank all of those folks and welcome the new folks on board. We've got a great team, and we're excited to continue our work.
Thank you, Mr. Tillett. Lexi, it's all you.
All right, so my report tonight will include both November and, well, the last meeting's reports as well as this meeting's reports. So PPS up first. PPS wrapped up a wonderful November with the return of Kindergarten Thanksgiving Feast and the completion of our readathon with our Fall Into Reading Day, where our PTO provided a free book to every student to snuggle up with this winter. The readathon raised nearly $7,000 for the school and earned several classes of extra recess and prizes for individuals, which are being distributed soon. We also held a PTO-sponsored Just for Fun bingo night, which was attended by many families. We look forward to another bingo night in February. In December, PPS celebrated the coming holidays with a Spirit Week, iPop sing-alongs, and an awesome performance by the Poquoson Middle School Band. We thank all who helped make these fun events in November and December happen. This month, we returned from the holidays and quickly reviewed our school-wide expectations of be safe, be responsible, and be respectful. We discussed and practiced these expectations in our school settings. We are also currently involved in mid-year assessments. These assessments will be used to gauge our progress and determine where additional support is needed for our students. We continue to see many visitors in our building eating lunch with our students and reading in the hallways. We even have a therapy dog who comes with his owner parent to read each week, as well as help the students and staff who may need some TLC. Thanks, Scooter. Our classroom teachers may have also welcomed some mystery readers. If you would like to be a mystery reader, please contact your student's teacher. Coming up soon will be an iPop open house next Thursday, January 26th, and kindergarten registration for the 2023-2024 school year at the start of February. Stay tuned and watch for flyers and social media posts for more information. Now, PES. Poquoson Elementary participated in a Spirit Week the week prior to getting out for break. The students loved dressing as their favorite holiday character, wearing ugly sweaters, and having pajama day. Teachers and staff enjoyed a cookie exchange with delicious cookies brought in by volunteers. Our 5th grade students have been working hard to use our new STEM lab. They have experimented with electricity and learned about open and closed circuits, insulators, and conductors. PMS came out and shared a wonderful holiday music with our staff and students. They sounded amazing. Our gym teacher has also had students playing floor hockey, and they also participated in a bowling tournament in gym class. We've had a very busy and productive in the last few weeks of PES. Students have also been planting tulip bulbs around the campus with a Master Gardeners Club. Can't wait to see them pop out when it gets warm. Now PMS. Great things are happening at Poquoson Middle School. We are excited to announce the opening of the All Boutique, a store where students can select prizes based on the number of Golden Bull tickets they have earned by demonstrating the school-wide expectations of being respectful, acting responsibly, and building resilience. The school store's grand opening is set for February 2nd. Our students are also excelling inside and outside the classroom. The PMS Spelling Bee took place in December and had more than 60 students participate. Congratulations to Skylar Duckworth on being PMS Spelling Bee champion. We wish Skylar the best of luck as he moves on to compete the Regional Spelling Bee on February 11th. PMS would also like to congratulate our January students of the month, Jamison Bryant for 6th grade, Olivia Bryant for 7th grade, and Alexandra Hennessy for 8th grade. PMS is proud to announce that 11 of our students were selected for all-district band. We are excited to announce the return of Battle of the Classes, where grade levels compete to be awarded the coveted trophy. Teams have been formed and students are preparing to participate in this event on February 16th. PMS would like to acknowledge that the original renovation timeline would have had us transitioning back into the building over winter break. We are extremely grateful to have once again been able to start the school year in our new building instead, and would like to thank everybody who made this possible. Now, last but not least, PHS. December and January have been both successful and busy months at Poquoson High. All of our fall sports seasons wrapped up with field hockey, football, cheerleading, volleyball, and cross country all reaching state playoffs. Our field hockey team earned state runner-up. Our winter sports season is now in full motion, and our student athletes continue to succeed. Our chorus and band programs had students placed on the all-district ensembles. Our students have also participated in learning outside the classroom, with English classes going to watch A Christmas Carol and our science students going to Virginia Beach whale watching. DECA students earned multiple places at the regional competition and will be advancing to states. Astronomy/physics classes students have been launching rockets. Teacher cadets have been learning teacher licensure requirements from our HR director, Debbie Bunting. Biology students dissected a dogfish. Pottery students are now advancing to learning how to shape bowls and using a pottery wheel, and our PE classes continue to decorate our hallways with health-related awareness posters. Our driver's education program placed second in the regional Drive for Change, Buckle Up and Slow Down Challenge. We also had a rap battle between Mr. DeSong and Miss Inslee, which was something our students very appreciated. PHS wants to encourage all students to maintain focus in these next few weeks to finish our first semester strong. The second semester will begin February 1st. Also, a congratulations to our one act for being state runner-up. And as always, please subscribe to our weekly newsletter, The Island Times, to keep an update with all things Poquoson High. And I personally would like to congratulate the wrestling team for their success recently at the Virginia Duels. Good luck to the Scholastic Bowl team who are competing in districts tonight. And then also special congratulations to the 11 students who made all-district band, 9 who made in concert band, and 2 who made symphonic band. And then I also want to thank Miss Dusty for everything and being so helpful. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Lexi. Mr. Ingram?
Yeah, I'll keep mine short and sweet tonight. Just want to congratulate all the awardees, from the Student of the Month all the way down to the Teachers of the Year. And Dusty, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for keeping our candy stocked. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Goodale?
Same here. Wanted to congratulate all the, Ms. Haddock for her scholarship, the field hockey team. And really big kudos to Amy Smith. I think that's important work. I think you always hear that around the community. Why don't they teach something important in school, like, how to balance a checkbook or pay your taxes or whatever? And so I think they're actually doing that work. So I think that's great. All the teachers of the year, and also their lives and their key efforts for our teachers. Teachers of the Year and all our teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Childress?
I'd like to echo probably what most people said here. Thank you to Dusty. Welcome April and Amber. I'd like to congratulate the academics, the athletes, and the teachers for all their rewards that they got here. That's pretty amazing. PEF and Kiwanis Club for supporting the Poquoson education. And I'd like to thank Artie for always pushing to get his staff the bonuses and salaries that y'all have been getting, and I'd like to thank the city for agreeing to it and finding a way to make it work. He really does fight for all his staff members. He does a really good job trying to support you guys, and the city does a good job making it happen. So thank you.
Thanks. Ms. Martin?
Yes, I'd like to say welcome to Ms. Brown. You're a wonderful addition to our team, so thanks. We're glad you're here. Thank you also to the PEF and the Kiwanis Club, because, you know, it's just one more added tool to our tool belt that kind of might make somebody come to Poquoson instead of somewhere else, because we have such wonderful community support. Congratulations to all of our recognitions today. You know, we wouldn't be who we are without all of those people, especially the teachers and the Teachers of the Year. I would also like to say thank you to Mr. Smith. He said something tonight that was pretty profound to me about being prepared globally. And that is huge for the kids that are getting ready to come through school. So thank you to him, and Artie, thank you for not only advocating for our teachers, but also our students, and really a global world that they will be living in. And also, lastly, good luck, Dusty. We'll miss you.
Have a time limit.
I don't.
No.
So many people accuse her.
Oh, okay. No, I'm going to echo what everybody has said. Well deserved. Welcome to the new hires. Look forward to working with you guys. Dusty, spoon fed me, and I so appreciate it. And I wish you the best of everything in your new season of life, honestly. I'm going to let it go at that. But one more thing. Lexi, you are an amazing teenager. Thank you. Okay, your questions are just, they blow my mind. So thank you.
Thank you. I was going to say the exact same thing. This is my 7th year on the board. We have some amazing students in our city. We've had some great students and student representatives, but you blow mine too, like so you and your ideas and your thoughts, and it's you're really taking a step above, and we appreciate it, and we see it, and can't wait to see what you do. I agree with everybody else's comments. The only other plug I'll put in, I know this has been a lot over social media, but our city is recognizing a few students that made it to the major leagues, and that's going to be on the 27th at 4 o'clock at Firth Field. So, I know it's all over there, but I just wanted to throw it out there too. Other than that, is there any material for board review?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to adjourn us, and we have a work session to go to, so thank you all.